In Patrick's and Tunnicliffe's Zoo Talk, they discuss the importance of dialogue in informal science settings. In Chapter 7, Visitor's Voice, different aspects of conversation are broken down to help better understand the learning that occurs in these facilities. I enjoyed learning the difference between experiential conversations and logical conversations, and I feel that if I were standing nearby and listening to a conversation at a zoo, I would be able to tell if they were just discussing observations they made or connecting what they learned to prior knowledge. For instance, I was recently at the DC Zoo and overheard a conversation between a young boy and his father. The boy asked his father, "Are all of the bears hibernating? It's December." To which the father replied, "I'm not sure if they hibernate at the zoo." Then the little boy fired back with "I think they will be. It's in their instincts." I knew that this little boy had a vested interest in this animal and would absorb all of the information on the topic while he was there. This article, Visitor's Voice, does connect a lot of good conversational theories to conversations that may be heard in life, but the sample conversations I feel take away from the overall article. An example here and there could be beneficial, but there were many sample conversations and it kind of broke the piece up. So perhaps a longer conversation that covered many conversation topics or different age groups within the same conversation would have been more useful. I also noticed a fault in a piece of information given to the reader on page 113. Lions, ocelots, and jaguars are mammals, and most mammals that have babies do not go through incomplete metamorphosis. Instead, they go through direct development because they have the same basic body structure from birth to adulthood. They develop hormonally and are not missing any body parts as juveniles. However, grasshoppers go through incomplete metamorphosis. They start as an egg and then continue on to be a nymph and will be missing sex organs and wings. As an adult, they will have these parts. I wouldn't have noticed this bit of information, but entomology is my favorite branch of science. The literature review does point out good things about different strategies that are needed when talking about informal science, like decoding and the different conversational levels between adults and different age groups. And as I read the literature review, I didn't really see a cause for answering these questions, but instead I see them answering the questions posed. What I mean is I can see the connections that were made between the literature review and the dialogue examples and how they are used or can be useful in an informal science setting. But I did not see an original question posed before the research was done. An example of how it is useful, though, would be when research is done to see what triggers visitors to talk. They then use that information to focus a conversation and turn it into a learning experience. Conversation pieces are a vital part of informal science learning. And I feel like Visitor's Voice did a great job of discussing the decoding that's used and different language that can be used between people having these conversations. I feel that anyone interested in the discussions had at the zoo and how to understand what they mean and how to use them to maybe better benefit how they are teaching informal science, this would be a great article for them.